Yo, welcome to Nerdology 101. And let's bring in Irv. You were getting me worried there for a second, dude. How you going to tell me to come in at 8 and then you don't show up right at the wire?
You know how it is. Responsibilities, family.
Spanish time.
Latin time, baby. Latin time. Yeah, we're getting everything ready.
Right on, man. All right, so we got 2 guests today. Let's bring in, first and foremost, let's bring in DJ Alizay. What's up, homie? What's going
Big
on?
Swerve.
Big Swerve, fashionably late.
Latin time. Got to make sure I have my Voltron t-shirt ready to go. My Voltron t-shirt.
My Chrome Boo.
Gotta have it. See, it's like Tron, but it's Voltron.
Voltron.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, and let's bring in our second guest, man. Friend of the podcast and Maryland-based hip-hop artist, Seth Jones.
What up,
homie? What's up?
Uh-oh.
There he is. There he is, motherfucking Doom Mask.
Rest in peace to Doom.
Yeah, man.
For those who don't know, booyah.
Rest in peace to Doom.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it started. You know, I wanted to say, Alizay, what we were talking about before. I always, when I think of you, I always think of this time I'm at Kinko's. This is back in the day. I'm showing my age, but I'm at Kinko's and I'm making these copies, and this dude comes up to me, and I'm wearing a Che Guevara shirt, and this dude comes up to me, and he's like, "The fuck you know about that?" Like all aggressive. I'm like, "What the hell?" He's like, "What the fuck? You know, all y'all young motherfuckers always wearing Che shirts. You don't know shit." So, boom, we start politicking. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. He's like, okay. He gives me props. He was like, "What's your name?" I'm like, Nelson. He's like, "Yeah, I'm so-and-so, right?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Yeah, my son, he's a DJ, blah, blah." I'm like, "Oh, for real? What's his name?" He's like, "DJ Alizay." I'm like, "What the fuck? For real?" It was dope as shit. But I always remember that. It was so random, man.
You want to know what? He always talked about that time where he met you, like, because I always remember him calling you out. I'm like, my dad he got this thing of just calling people out, and I'm like, "Dad, you gotta stop that, man." Like,
rightfully so, dog. If you're wearing a Che shirt
and you don't know what it means,
you should know what the fuck you're wearing, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, man. So, Alizay, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, first and foremost, I'm born in New York City, but you see my shirt right here, made in the DMV.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. But yeah.
And that's DC, Maryland, Virginia, not. Not where you get your driver's license.
Facts.
Outside of the Maryland area is DMV.
I'm considered OG to some, but to me, I feel like I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? So, did radio for 10 years, WKYS 99 to 09. Broke, a big artist by the name of Wale here in DC, which kind of sparked off the whole new DMV. The new DMV movement. Man, I feel like I'm tied to so many things, but my name Isaiah Johnson, aka Alizay, Hydesville's own, baby.
Hydesville. Right on, man. And Seth, you want to give people some background on you, man?
Same as Alizay, man. Born and raised in DMV. Been doing music for about 10 years. Back and forth for me. Right now, I'm at the point I'm in between life and music, so a lot's changed over time. But once you have a passion for something, you can't let it go. So that's where we're at right now. I'm doing a lot of independent work, working with a lot of different people in the area, and hopefully I'll have more for you in a couple episodes.
Oh
Awesome,
yeah,
man. Yeah, I know
awesome, nice,
you're working on
nice.
something right now, right?
Right, working on Broadcast Revolution.
Awesome, man. So let's jump into it. I figured, for this one, I'm gonna let the geniuses of the group here. You guys definitely know more than me.
Definitely know more than me. I mean, I'm here to learn, baby. I'm here to learn.
Same here.
Yeah,
So
because
I
you
mean,
see, go ahead, man.
yeah, you guys are the rap nerds here. So
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just a
gonna let
regular
you
nerd.
guys nerd out. So let's hear some of your picks, man, for rap nerds. So let's start. Actually, you know what? Before we start that, I wanted to ask you guys because I've talked to a bunch of people, right, since the podcast or whatnot, and everybody seems to have a different definition of nerd. So, Alizay, what would you consider a nerd?
A nerd is all right, and I can only speak. I guess we're only speaking from from our experiences of what we think a nerd is.
Right.
I personally always felt like I was smart and like I was into weird things, but so a nerd. I have to make this correlation. A nerd isn't necessarily someone who scores a 1400 on their you know SAT or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Sometimes that can be like, oh, he's nerd. I actually scored a horrible test on my SAT. You know what I'm saying? Which when I say horrible, it was like, thank God I was like that into DJing because
You got
I
points for
was,
your name for writing your
yeah,
name.
I
That
was
was
not
it.
getting into school with my SAT score, but
Right. Right. Right.
I nerded out on music. You know what I'm saying? I nerded
Right.
out on
Yep.
music and sports. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But to me, a nerd is someone who is has a wealth of knowledge in the field that they're in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, or the field that they're into. Somebody doesn't have to be necessarily in, but they could be into something and nerd out on that.
Right.
But yeah, I think a nerd doesn't mean that you're school smart. More so, you're into what the hell you're into.
Hmm. I agree with that.
Mhm.
Seth, what would be your definition?
I mean, similar along the lines of what he was saying. It's just somebody who, I mean, you have a interest. You know what I mean? Like something that, I mean, you may not be into baseball. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you take one aspect of something that you really love and you really delve into it more than what the average person would. You know, like the average listener to music is not going to know all the things that Alizay knows about music.
Right.
You know what
No,
I'm
I
saying? So I
agree.
mean, but they may know something
Right.
else, like wrestling. A lot of people nerd out on wrestling. You
Yeah.
feel me? Sci-fi
Yeah, man.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just having an
Yeah.
interest in something beyond the casual. I mean, what the casual listener would have.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I'm a rap fan, but I wouldn't consider myself a rap nerd. Like, I have trouble. We were talking about that earlier, soul to soul. Like, I know the song, but like only Alizé would like,
Yeah, I know.
you know,
I'm like that shit is
Right.
matured.
right.
He knows a story
Exactly.
about the whole band and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
yeah. For
Behind the music shit.
Right.
for speaking for myself, like I'm a specific type of nerd. I'm a geek. So comic
I agree
books,
with that.
all that stuff. Sci-fi. That's that. I'm in it hardcore. The Voltron T-shirt says it all.
Yeah, man.
But one of the things, and I thought this was a great idea to do this show, is a lot of geeks like myself got into rap. Whether you go back into like the late '80s, early '90s, with like I remember I was in high school, I was a kid, you know, and I really wasn't into music, I just wasn't. A good few songs here and there, but then Public Enemy came out, and there
Mm.
was something about that, something about like fighting the system, hating on that system, the whole idea of black power, empowerment, basically. And that spoke to me and a lot of the geeks. So we We started listening, but the big one took place in '93 when I joined the Air Force. I was in there, I got together with all little D&D geeks. We were playing our little
That's
D&D
Dungeons
games
and
and all that stuff.
Dragons. That's Dungeons and
And
Dragons for
yeah,
you
Dungeons and
entry
Dragons,
level
all those
nerds.
little role-playing games, Rifts, Palladium Rifts. We were all in there.
What city is this in? What city is this?
I was in Keesler Air Force Base at that time. Just transferred over to Minot Air Force Base in a short stint. Bunch of us, apparently like every geek just got transferred there for a short stint. So we were there for a bit. And I remember 93, fall 93. And there it was, we all came in. I walked into the BX by myself. And there it was, staring me right in the face. Wu-Tang, into the 36 chambers. I'm telling you, at that point, every geek was watching. Every geek was watching the Kung Fu flicks. We were watching that Wu-Tang Clan. We were into it. It was like, oh my God, man, this is amazing. This is like Asian superheroes. That's what those Kung Fu flicks were. They're like superheroes, but for Asians. And that's how Asia saw superhero types and through the martial arts and stuff.
I never looked at it like that, but you're right.
And so, I saw that. I was like, the funny thing about that 36 Chambers title, if you watch the Wu-Tang, Jet Li's character, this is when Jet Li was like young buck going in.
Yeah.
His character discovers the 35th chamber
Really?
as a Shaolin. Yeah, yep. His character was in there. Discovering that Shaolin.
I need to go back and look at that.
Most of the references made by the Wu-Tang, it's all like Kung Fu shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
they're like Kung Fu nerds.
Right.
I went in there and I reached out for that.
Watch Kung Fu, like they have to fucking study the shit.
Yep. I reached out for that CD. Sure enough, like 4 hands were coming out for it. And I turn around and it's like, it's all the dudes I was geeking out with. Like, look at this, man. I know what that's about. We gotta get this.
Shaolin on them.
Blown away. Blown away. I mean, everything, the lyrics, the dark sense of humor, the flow was just something else.
All right, so
and
that's
we want. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I thought you were
whether we want to
wrapping it
accept it or not. I mean, you listen to like Ghostface Killer. He was making references to comic books and anime like crazy. And I was like, oh my God, this is
Ghostface Killer.
Iron Man. Iron Man, come on, man. It was all there. And it just brought us into this. That was my entry into hip hop, period.
Okay.
And that's a good segue to get into it, man. Wu-Tang, like when I was trying to come up with a list, it's like, dude, almost everybody that I thought of was in Wu-Tang. Like, I mean, almost anybody.
You got to put them in as just one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
That's just one person is 10 people or 9 people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I agree.
From ODB to Jizza to RZA.
Yeah, man.
Raekwon, all of them. They're all nerds.
The chef, the Jizza, Inspector.
RZA. Oh my God, all of them.
You God.
Oh,
Yo, I love You God. People always try to throw shit on You God. I'm like, I love You God. Not that I love his albums, but just
right. Yeah, man. They were all characters, man. In a weird way, they all reminded me of a kung fu, the kung fu film genre. You had your drunken master, you had the fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always like these, the Buddhist monk, that be the Jizza or whatnot. But I kind of felt like it was that. It was just an ensemble of kung fu masters that formed like one dojo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was wild, man. Each one of them had their own flavor, man.
And we're all watching the Hulu show on that, man. We're watching the Hulu on that. Come on, man.
Wu-Tang. What is it? You want to know what? I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, so good. So good. So good.
I've been holding out, and maybe it might be time, after talking to y'all, it might be time to watch it.
Oh, it's so good, man.
And this show is brought to you by Black Label.
Black Label.
We're sipping on some Black Label today with some ginger ale and some water.
Some straight Jameson.
Straight like that? Big Swerve.
Big Swerve.
Big Swerve.
That's why they call him Big Swerve.
I
He
see.
jumps behind the wheel afterwards.
I see. Drink responsibly, y'all.
Oh yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah. I don't condone it.
Responsible.
Nah, I'm
I'm
playing.
just telling you what it is.
Nah, I'm playing.
I know my limits.
Alizay, who would you say is you would consider a rap nerd?
Gotta go for me off top. Gotta go like Black Thought.
Mm.
Um,
I don't have his image here,
no, it's all
but
good, man. I mean,
you guys should
yeah,
know who it is.
Black Thought, the roots. Ever since junior high school, eighth, seventh, eighth grade, just hearing him. Certain people, when you hear them, you're like, man, that dude is smart. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
just
Right.
how he puts his words together. And I mean, from back then all the way up until now, you look at his freestyles now, and you're like, who's like the words that he puts together is just like, it's just you just like, yo, like, how is that being put? How are you processing that in
Right.
your mind?
yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the first person for me that like comes like, and once again, I base it not off of like somebody who seems just outright smart, more so than like it's like how do you put these words together?
Right.
And that's why I asked you guys what you consider a nerd, because it's something really hard to define. Like if you look up like Webster's dictionary, it's like I think it's damn near considered a fool. It's like the
Wow,
opposite of
wow,
it's like
It's
somebody who
a smart
lacks
person who's
social
very clumsy.
skills.
wow.
Yeah, it's
A foolish or
yeah,
contemptible person who lacks social skills or is bornly studious. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
um, but it's kind of like words when you look up in Urban Dictionary, like the when you look up Webster's dictionary, it says one thing, but if you look in Urban Dictionary, like a ratchet, you know what I mean, means
Facts.
something
That could be a
different than if
gun.
you look up.
Right.
Exactly, it could be it could be a behavior or a
Yeah.
woman.
Listen.
You know what I'm
Listen.
saying? So I kind of feel like nerd is that it's sort of defined by culture itself, not by Webster. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And that's why I like asking people what they think a nerd is, because it tells you a lot about somebody. Defining a nerd.
No, I
Because
agree.
a lot of people say, it's somebody smart, somebody not cool. But, I look at Wu-Tang, or, I look at, for instance, Wale, or, for me, those are nerds. And I'm like, but they're cool too. You know what I mean?
No, I mean,
Right.
yeah, I agree. I think a nerd is someone who knows a lot. It could be about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
People nerd out on. You got people who nerd out on freaking, socks. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
saying? You know
Yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? So,
Yeah,
It's like
dude.
Jeopardy. Jeopardy. Those a lot of those people that win Jeopardy aren't smart. They're just in the trivia.
Yeah,
facts. Yeah, facts.
you're
You're
You
right.
know what
right.
I'm saying?
You're right.
Yeah. Like they
All right.
only know the most obscure stuff that you could possibly know.
Well, if I may ask a question, like Seth, for you, good sir. So let me ask you, who was the intellectual rapper for you? Like, who could spit out those lyrics like on another level, like for you, when you were listening?
For me, I came. I mean, when I really started listening to music and like having my own take on what it was, like I'm an '80s baby, so I came through the '90s and grew up in the 2000s. So like for me, when I really found myself, I found myself like in the underground. So I was real heavy in the raucous
Mm.
and cats like Most Def, Pharoah Monch,
Most
and for
deaf.
me, Pharoah is one of my favorites. But if we're talking about nerds, I would say Most Def because he's one of those guys who has a lot of content and just again the way that he puts things. And if you ever heard him talk about MF Doom,
Oh man, I
he's a
love it.
Doom nerd.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
If you ever seen him talk about MF Doom on YouTube, he loves him. And if you just listen to Mos Def, he just nerds out on MF Doom anytime you bring him up. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Love
I was a huge fan of Mos Def. The thing with him is he's smooth with it. Like he says some shit that takes you 2-3 seconds to process.
Right.
And then it processes and you got to rewind the motherfucker because you just missed everything that came after that. Like for me, that's what it was. He was so much smarter.
Right. He's one of those guys that when you listen to stuff, if you don't know what it is, you'll go to find out what it is. Just because he said it, you just want to catch up real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eye Against Eye.
Yeah, Eye Against Eye was fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. I love that song.
What is y'all's favorite song by Mos Def? One song.
I would say Eye Against Eye for sure. Dog, I would fucking crank that fucking song in my car, dude, and just drive at 80.
Would you
For
say
me,
Seth?
it was the idea.
I said New World Water.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh,
Yeah.
What you about to say, Big Swerve? I want to hear this.
the Eye Against Eye spoke volumes to me. It was this idea that he could sell out and make it big, but then that would betray the artist within. So that was the battle that he had for most of his career.
It was a straight conversation.
Easy. It would have been easy for him to just go ahead and sell out.
Oh well, he was on that. He was on a trajectory to do so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was in movies and all. You know, he
man.
He literally was like the total package.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rap, act,
He's multi-talented, man. Great actor.
Yeah.
But he was that talented, man. It's a renaissance man. He can literally do it all. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about art is, you know, it's kind of like musicians, right? It's like if you get a musician that can play the piano, that motherfucker can play the guitar. He can play the trumpet. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
Like, yeah, there's a backbone to it. So I feel like all art is that way. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of actors, I didn't know this. A lot of actors can sing. So it's like once you're tied into the arts.
Yeah, arts is arts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think there's a huge difference between visual arts and what you guys do. Because, dude, I've tried to fucking play guitars and shit. I cannot, and you know, I wish I could, but I can't. So it doesn't translate there for some reason. Seth, who else do you got, man?
Not sticking to any time period. I would say Kendrick. Kendrick's another one of those guys who
wrong
he's
one.
Like a book report rapper to me.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know, he puts a lot of content when he gets an idea. He puts a lot into it, and it's not just like rapping for the sake of being a rapper, but there's always something being conveyed, something being, you know what I mean?
It was that intellectual edge, man.
The Black of the Berry joint he did is like one of the best raps I heard.
I think that
like 15 years, maybe.
Yeah, in fact, I think that album was like his nerd album too.
Right.
That album, what was the name of that album?
That was from Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, I think that was his nerd out album right there.
You know, you couldn't be an idiot and flow lyrics like that. And these guys are just, I mean, how else can I describe it, man? They were cutting that flow like liquid swords, man. Just
you know what? And it makes you want to sit down and have a conversation with them, right? Like if that's just some shit that they're throwing on a song that's just like one, maybe two bars. It's like, what if you sat down and they could just talk about it? Like just unload all the information on that one fucking line.
But I think that's the beauty about rappers. And sometimes is that when you sit down with them, that person that you think is on the song is them. You know,
right.
It's like they got to tap into that. It's like going into a whole nother world to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the beauty of like, you know, understanding or like getting to, you know, understanding what rappers do. You know, sometimes they like zap out. You know, like they literally turn into another person.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And
I know
I think you
some
can
y'all.
see that in different stages of their body of work. If you look at it like a first album versus a third album, you can see that progression.
Yeah.
Right.
You can literally, it's almost like breadcrumbs. You can kind of see, what they were doing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I wanted to ask you, Seth? Last time we talked, you had mentioned, you said something interesting. You were saying a lot of rappers are nerds and they're surrounded by nerds. Do you remember talking about that? Could you repeat that? That was fucking dope.
What I was saying, like, all right, rappers are nerds, but I mean, if you think about what is around, what kind of people do musicians in general hang around? Who's doing the sound? Like audio engineers, the producers, the sound nerds, and the stuff that like all the stuff that you have to know to be an audio engineer is ridiculous. And if you ever sit down with a good one, they're gonna tell you stuff, and you're gonna nod your head like you know what they're saying. But half the time you don't know what they're talking about. You're like, yeah, this sounds good.
Right.
Like,
right.
Producers, I've seen producers that'll sit there and tap one key and be like, nah, that's not it. Keep tapping that one key. 45 minutes later, we're still tapping that one key. He's tapping the key, turning the knob. Tapping the key, turning the knob. Nerding out on sounds. Like, it's crazy. Like,
it's true, man. It's an obsession with sound. Yeah, man.
Right.
I saw. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, if you ever watch the Hip Hop Evolution that's on Netflix, they actually talk about that when it came out. They explained it when it started off in New York. A lot of these sound guys, the DJs, they actually had to build their own sound. Yep. They had to build their own. They did that thing from scratch.
I don't know if it was that documentary, but I saw something, man. I'm fucking this up, but let's just assume it was some artist like, let's say Mick Jagger or some shit like that, right? It was some rock dude. And then somebody had left the door open, right? And something about reverb or some weird shit, feedback came through the mic. And the sound guy was like, what the fuck is that? And then, they had to redo it. But anyway, he ended up liking that sound and created this machine to do it on purpose. And it's, dude, I'm fucking this story up, but that sound is a signature sound of, I forget what genre in the 80s. And it was an accident. And it was just some sound guy was like, it's not for this song, obviously, because it's a mistake, but he liked the sound and recreated it, made like some type of fucking machine to recreate that sound, and it became the signature sound of, I forget what genre in the 80s. That was informative and not informative at the same time.
No, but that's the beauty of stuff happening on accident sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's the genius and nerd in the person to actually be like, oh, that's something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, absolutely, man. And also,
just touch that thing, feel it, man.
Yeah, I always remember also, to Seth's point, I always remember the skinny white dude from Hustle and Flow. Like
I love him.
When he's playing with and everyone's like, what the fuck is this dude doing? He's like, dude, just let him go. Just let him go. Let him nerd out. And he came up with something good. I always remember that scene.
If you look at the industry today, though, a lot of the biggest artists have that nerdy white dude.
Oh, fact. Or it might be
Drake has 40. Griselda has Derringer. Alchemist is out there doing shit with everybody. Like, it's crazy.
Nah, I mean, even shit. You think of like Young Guru would be that for
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Yeah.
Or like you were saying, Paul C. What happened to the audio?
Phone call, my bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna. I said Young Guru, and then for TDE would be Ali, right? So
Ali.
Yeah. Nerds.
I remember like
nerds are out there, man.
We're
usually nerds are there. They're just usually behind the scenes, man, because they're antisocial and
Wow.
socially awkward.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Boringly studious.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't say we're boring, but we're definitely.
I hide behind images. Like I tattooed something, I put it online. I'm like, not my face, please.
Yeah, it's like I know some of y'all are around, definitely around for this. Y'all remember 18th Street Lounge?
Oh yeah.
When the acid jazz came in with MC Solar. And I remember it was what's his name? Shoot. KRS-One who brought him in. You know,
Yo,
the good,
another
the
fucking
bad,
legend, dude.
La Bien Le Mal, you know, and they brought him in with that. And when MC Solar hit here, because he was you know, the rapper in Europe. When he came in, he brought in that acid jazz. And I remember when I was hanging out in 18th Street Lounge, man, there were a lot of nerds like myself. We went there, sure, we had to dress up nice and everything else, but we came there for that sound, man. There was nothing like it. There was nothing like it.
What year was
KRS-One?
This was like late 90s. I'm
late
talking
90s,
like
that's what I was thinking.
90, 96 through like 99. Even all the way up to I went a couple times like in 2000, 2001. Yeah, they had the whole acid jazz thing coming in, man. And that was, and with MC Solar, a lot of rappers started using it. KRS-One started using it. Of course,
KRS-One was a
super
nerd.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Fucking knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. That's the nerdiest shit I've ever heard of, dog.
Serious.
Yeah.
Sorry, Irv, I didn't mean to interrupt, man. What were you saying?
No. I was just reminiscing because that also reminded me of.
Hey, Irv, you're doing good, man. I didn't even have to hit you with the nerd alert meter.
Yeah, that exists for me, apparently.
Yeah. It goes from here to here to here.
I was hit to orange, man.
There.
He's off the charts.
You're out of here, buddy. Yeah, this is King Nerd, by the way. I didn't give you his proper name. So he's King Nerd. He will nerd the fuck out for a good 2 hours, dude. And I keep, I'm always like, dude, we got 1 hour. That's it. But you're doing good, dog. Thumbs up.
I mean, it's just those are good times. And of course, now that I mentioned KRS-One, the tune that I can never get out of my head was the beef track he had with Nelly. Dude, I've never seen, not since No Vaseline, have I ever seen someone just utterly crush somebody. He said his notes come from the line of kings. You actually comes reading all the wrong things.
I remember that too.
Yeah, that
was a pivotal time in hip hop.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was.
Because Nelly blew up even bigger after that. Which is like
Nelly was a beast, man. I was listening to Nelly the other day. I hadn't heard him in a long time. I was like, dude, this was new. It was funky. It was a refreshing new sound.
Yeah, you've been all right.
Dope.
He just shouldn't have picked a fight with KRS-One.
What was that?
You shouldn't have picked the beef with KRS-One.
When Nelly first came out, I really wasn't into it. But then, like, what came after Nelly, made me come back and be like, you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong about this.
I mean, but that's the problem.
I thought it was at the time, and it really wasn't, though.
That's the problem with innovators, man. That's the problem with somebody that tries something new. It's hard to receive it, but then it kind of becomes the new way. And then it's like, wow, it's like we all praise Rakim now. You know what I'm saying? But Rakim,
no.
80s.
Rakim was a god in my house.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a man. He's a man.
I'm saying his sound was so innovative. Like it brought forth the 90s sound. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like in the 80s, it was an abrupt change. I'm not saying he sucked. I'm saying it was an abrupt change, and then after that, everybody followed suit.
Right.
I'm going into
my opinion.
I'm gonna go into orange. That's the thing with pioneers. They blaze the
We're going
trails.
straight
It's
into
rough.
orange. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what pioneers do, man. They blaze those trails. It's rough. It's rough until they blaze it. They make that trail, and then it's nice and clear, and it all comes in. Everybody crosses that bridge, and that's
Yeah.
like you wouldn't talk about '90s like
It's
intellectual.
bold though, right? Because if you're way ahead of your time, it might not be well received.
And that's a risk you got to take. I mean,
Yeah, no,
that's
for
how it
sure.
was.
I'm
That's
not
where the best
arguing
stuff
that.
came in. I loved the '90s because there was a lot of experimental stuff. You got the genre within a subgenre, and it all kept going out. Everybody was experimenting. Like
Right.
even
Yeah.
in the gangster rap world, where you had Gangstar, who did they have?
I love
Guru.
Gangstar.
Yeah.
Guru was rapped on another
He's a
level.
nerd.
Yeah, there you go.
He's
Rapped on
the
another level.
only rapper I know that could get away with saying lyrical bullets.
Yeah. And look, it was
Real.
crazy because when you think of that from him, he meant it. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Right.
it was like it was going through your head. It was like he would say something. It was like getting shot into your head.
Yeah, and people would stop the CDs, like rewind that. What did he say? What did he say?
Yeah, man, that's
And you have to
the
go
best.
over it again.
Cannabis has a line like that, man. He's like something along the lines of rewinding it and reciting it to your homies or something along those lines. But when I heard that, it was like, fuck, I'm literally about to rewind that because I have to hear it again. Like, he predicted the fucking future, you bastard. Cannabis, for those of you who don't know.
Cannabis was the man. He was one of those dudes. Like, I gotta say, when I first started rapping, he was one of those dudes. Like, when I heard him, my style changed a little bit.
Oh shit!
And I knew.
He shifted your consciousness a bit.
I knew no matter what, I knew no matter what I did as a rapper, I knew that I wanted to be lyrical. Because especially after hearing him, like he was like with some totally other stuff. Like all the junk he was doing on Hot 97 and all that stuff, it was crazy.
He was out of this world.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And then back with the Clue tapes and man.
Dog, what was the song? 100 bars?
100 bars on some professional shit.
What the fuck? 100 bars? Jesus Christ!
Some professional shit. Yo, I love that one.
At one point in my life, I could go word for word with that song. That's how much I nerded out in the rap. You know?
Oh yeah, crazy. I listened to that like
there's
nonstop.
Like a few people in the history of rap that I was just like, yeah, this is something different right here. It was maybe Cannabis. Pun was another one.
Yo, Pun was a monster, dude.
Ridiculous, bro.
Yeah. And like I said, when I was hanging out with my local geeks, we were just sitting there and we'd play 100 bars, and that line, that one part, where he says, "I'm just a little fish in a big pond." Trying to flip on me, you'll get flipped off. My freestyle lines much a million strong. Like a Nation of Islam with suede Timbs on. I was like, oh.
Dog, he painted visuals, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy.
All right, we got M, the obvious one.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I don't. And it's like he's like nerdy, and he's also geeky. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude jumps out, "Hi, my name is," like that. That was like the most geekiest shit I've ever heard.
But it was honest. It was honest about being that white kid on 8 Mile, going up in that thing. He was honest, like brutally honest. And then, of course, he did all this other stuff. And the thing about Eminem, what made him brilliant, and why Dr. Dre loved that about him, is he played that whole character where he was going postal, like every time. Like he had lost it, Oh, no. That's just ketchup on your mother's head.
You know what? You know what I nerded out on Eminem that was on when he hopped on a Dead Wrong, Biggie.
Yeah, dude.
He
like,
and Biggie had just died, so it was like, I'm like, all right, I remember people being like, yo, you got to hear this remix. I'm like, man, what the hell could he have done that Biggie didn't do? And I went and heard it, and I said, "Holy shit!"
And that's
But I mean, that's a part of M's sort of battle rap persona. You know what I mean? He understood the gravity of that album. You know what I mean? This is following Biggie's death. Like he definitely knew he had to bring it. You know
He
what I
brought
mean?
it.
And he brought it. He brought that shit.
ill. He brought
I'm ready
ill.
for war.
Yeah,
Machetes
he
and
brought
swords.
makes a
Like what
little ill,
the fuck?
makes a little Pac, Biggie. And what have you got? The
The
juggernaut.
fuck
of
do
the
you
trap
got?
shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, monstrous. Monstrous. Humpty. Humpty is definitely a
Oh
nerd.
yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on, man. Yo, listen. Any person that is smart enough to be like, I'm going to play two people
right. I'm playing a
and
caricature.
and trick us for so long. That's
Yeah, man.
you got to put him up there with like he's like with like the Undertaker and like
The Undertaker.
yeah he's carried out he carried that out so long. I thought it was two people, man. Seriously, I really did. When I was young, I thought it was two people. I didn't think it was one person. And as I got older, I was like, that's the same guy. Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
He just had that thing, man. And what can I say, man? He brought the funk. He was tall, lanky, awkward. He had the nasally voice, but when he
Dude,
was
the
having that flow,
fucking
man, the funk.
nose cap. Like
Yeah.
who thought of that? Like how did he come up with that idea,
It
dude?
worked, man. It worked.
And you got to think he played two different people. Like how
Mhm.
dope is that?
Yeah, man.
Shock G and Humpty, huh? And he gave us
We got-
Tupac.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, he worked for him, right? He was like a background dancer or something.
Yeah, Pac, like
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like he gave us so much,
Damn.
Now there's another intellectual. Whether I forget all the hype that went around him. Trying to prove himself.
Not a nerd, by the way. Well, I mean,
Not a nerd, but
he was studious.
he touched. Tupac
Pac,
touched
I think people
a
don't
lot
wanna
of
say that, but he
intellectual.
probably never
Hold on, Irv. What was that, Seth?
I
Seth,
feel like
what was
people
that?
don't want to call Pac a nerd, but I mean, you've seen the other interviews.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's why I'm saying he's studious as a motherfucker. Like that dude absorbed books. Like the amount of books that dude read was ridiculous.
And that's what appealed to geeks like me. Like
He just had rain.
Yeah, but-
He had a lot of rain.
it was like
at least for my definition of a nerd, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't a nerd. He wasn't a nerd.
Outside,
but
you
we
know what
nerds
I mean?
loved him. We nerds loved.
Yeah,
like
he
his
loved the spotlight.
Like he operated on another level, man.
He was ahead of his time, dude. He was way ahead of his time.
Yeah, I think he nerded out more so on a writing aspect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I mean, they're studying his writings right now in college. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like he was a nerd in the aspect of when you look at him in the studio and you look at those videos and he's like, all right, y'all, stop playing around. Let's record. Let's get all this. It's like he knew the importance of recording that shit. It's like he knew he was gonna die. You know what I'm saying? He knew his time was coming, which you gotta be some sort of nerd to be that in tune with shit.
Right.
He like I said, he lived, say what you will, I'm not going to speak on the controversy with Suge Knight or anything else, but that element was there. That whatever when Suge
He's
Knight
not dumb, man. I'm sure he sensed it. He was getting looks and all kinds of shit.
And there was always going to be beef, and I get it. They did Death Row Records. Suge Knight came in, but Suge Knight, it's like being in the CIA. Once a blood, always a blood. and that don't
You
go
in.
away. And it's just like when Suge Knight came in, all the beefs that were around beforehand came with him.
Yeah.
And I've like I said that and yeah, Tupac spoke hardcore. He was like he was ready to die. Machiavelli. Remember the album
That was,
Machiavelli?
I love that
That
album.
was a hard album.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he was hard. He had that hardcore rap, that hardcore gangster rap. But nerds loved him because he didn't just say he was gonna go ahead and just simply put bullets in a dude. He was always talking about like all the intellectual stuff, and he spoke about his own personal angers, like his own personal anguish, what it was like growing up poor.
Right.
How even though he's being successful now, technically the way he's treated, the world he's exposed to, they still want to put him in that ghetto corner.
Hmm.
Mhm. And
And
he
that's
had his own conflicts, like hence I ain't mad at you, and it's like there was that conflict. To
yeah.
your point about becoming successful, and you know. All right, so let's move on here. Biz,
The Amazon.
the Biz Marquee, man. So
My
I know
man.
you have a personal relationship with him, so I'll let you go in on him.
Oh no, I mean, he's it's crazy because he's still in the hospital, man. I wish I could talk to
Yeah,
him right now.
I didn't want to bring that up, but if you
No,
could
so I mean,
expand on that.
it's it's something it's something that everybody they want to know how he's doing. I just got word from his wife. This is Wednesday. He's making progress. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying
Okay.
May he could be out. Um, he's somebody that, man, I just need. I have to talk to this guy. It's so much that has happened in between Father's Day last year and just now. Just think about like Houdini, Ecstasy, Pass, Doom, Prince Marky D yesterday. It's like it's so much has happened, but he on the nerd side, like he I look at him like Rain Man. You know what I'm saying? Rain Man. You watch the movie. A lot of people didn't. Of your first meeting of Rain Man, you didn't think he was smart. You're like, oh, what the hell
Right.
is up with this guy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not knowing that this dude is a freaking machine in his mind. You know what I'm saying? Biz is one of them people, man, that I could call him for any sample. I could like, let's say it's me calling, and I'm like, Biz, what's this? Yeah. Ah, oh, that's so and so. Da, 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 da. And it's like I go do my. It's like he's somebody I call. He's literally like an encyclopedia. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop
Damn.
encyclopedia. He has like all he has like original beat. I don't even know what you call them, from like Grandmaster Flash. It's like
Ooh,
stuff that you'd be like, what the hell are you doing with this? And he's like, man, I remember 1982 at the concert, Flash was playing that. Da, 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 da. It's like I think he's showing me that it's cool to be a hip hop nerd. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And that's something that I feel like, I don't know. Sometimes you get like scrutinized for sometimes for being a hip hop nerd, especially amongst like your friends. They're like, "Damn, man, why you
Yeah.
care about this so much?" You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But he
nerds,
Yeah.
showed
It's
he
nerds.
showed me that it is 1,000% okay to be that. You know what I'm saying?
right. And yeah, I can imagine it's hard in the hip hop industry to be a nerd because there's sort of like this
It's like a stigma.
right. It
Hmm.
because you have to be cool. It's like cool and hip hop is synonymous. Like hip hop defines what cool is.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So it's that's a thin line to have to balance. You know what I mean?
But
I
I'm
think.
glad these guys balanced it.
Oh, not
But
for sure. I think.
the dope thing about it is that a lot of times when you meet people who are hip hop nerds, they bring something to it, which like with like DJ Alizay, which is dope.
Nah, I'm. You know, when he asked me to be on the show, I'm like nerd. I'm like I'm a nerd. I'm not a typical nerd. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
But I
But that's
nerd
what the
out.
show is.
Yeah, I nerd out
Yeah, but you're a
on hip
nerd and
hop.
you
You know
bring
what I'm
something.
saying?
But you bring something to the culture. Like I mean, around this area, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I've just seen you throw Rick James on Gucci.
I, hey, I don't know what I don't know where I was at in my head to even think of that. You know?
Yeah, but that that was the
Yeah,
concept of
that's
the
good, man.
show, hence Nerdology 101. It's like, I don't want to speak to level 10 nerds. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
facts.
it's just boring conversation. Fun for me, but not interesting at all. But
Right.
level 1 nerd shit, very interesting. So
Hmm.
you bring in cool people like Seth and Alizay, so on and so forth, and makes for a fun, interesting conversation.
Nah, and I was telling Nelson how Biz has showed me. He's shown me he has like videos. One, all right, I'm gonna give you one in particular that I seen with my own eyes, and it's crazy. It had to be like 89, 90 latest. So it's a show. You know, I'm looking at it. First artist comes out, Sauce Money. I'm like, damn, 89? Sauce Money was around? Next artist, Jay-Z comes out with the fade.
Yeah.
Uh, he got like used jeans on, Major damn one of them.
Oh
He
shit, used.
he did a set, right? He did his set. After that, Buster come out. And mind you, they're coming out and the crowd is just looking like who the hell are y'all? Like,
Hmm.
and then
Wow.
after Buster's Kane comes out and everybody goes crazy for Kane. And then Biz closes out the show. And Biz is like, see, Zay, I told you, like, Jay used to really be around us. Like, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, I'm like, why hasn't anybody else seen this? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
people need to see this.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, man.
He's,
Hell yeah, people need to see that.
people need to see it, but for him it was like personal. It's
Oh,
like
I
this is
know, I
my
know.
thing.
Very, very much so. You're right. You're right.
Taking that. It's like it's the what it is. It's the wall of first edition comic collections.
Most
You have it,
facts.
and no one else got it. It's
Facts.
yours, and you remember that. Hey, here's me with Jay-Z right there.
It's like this
Facts.
guy right here.
89.
What is that right there? Spawn?
Spawn
Spawn.
number 1, 9.8 mint condition.
God.
Yeah, so this doesn't leave the house.
How much
You
is
know
that
what I
worth
mean?
right now?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I have absolutely no idea.
That might that
Well, when
might
the
that might be
new
like a
Spawn movie
Bitcoin or
comes
That's,
something.
out,
that's not why I got it. It could be worth 25 cents. I don't care. It's fucking awesome.
but see, that's the thing. And what did I say? What did I say last time, Nelson? Just like DJ Azay just came in with it. Yeah, Spawn got people that weren't into comic books into comic books.
Yeah, man.
That was Spawn.
And that's what nerd rappers do, man.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
they
they get people that are like, what the fuck is a ion rocket? And then you fucking Google it. And you go
Seriously.
down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean?
a
You're
deep
like, what
And
the fuck is.
and
Go ahead, my man.
When Seth just brought up, I did like a blend, Rick James and Gucci. I'm gonna tell you, I got like since the whole pandemic, I did maybe like 50 blends, but um I've been on them heavy because that's something that me and Biz kind of had in common. We would do stuff and then we would play it for each other. So lately I've been doing stuff and I can't play it for him, not yet, but in my mind I'm playing it for him. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I know if in my mind if I'm playing it for him, and I know if he's like, "That's funky," then I know everybody. I know everybody else is gonna like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The little Bismarck key on your
Oh,
shoulder.
it's there. It's there all the time.
That's awesome, man.
no.
Hmm.
Well,
Here's
yeah,
to a
man.
speedy, well recovery for Biz.
Man,
Absolute Biz,
There,
get
man.
better, man.
Get better, homie.
salute.
let me see who else we got here. We got I figured Logic. He's the obvious one, right? Very
Logic is,
nerdy.
yeah. I mean, that's my guy, man. You know, Montgomery County finest
Mhm.
right there. You know, definitely. You know, uh, he, he's in the same. To me, he's in the same boat of nerd as Wale. I kind of put him. You know, they're both in the same. Um, very. Seth said the word content, but it's a word I'm looking for. Where like how Wale does like the Seinfeld and all that stuff.
Man.
Oh yeah,
I can't think of the
The
word, but they, you know,
zeitgeist.
yeah,
Zeitgeist.
they go deep into what they like, you know,
Yeah.
deep.
Man.
I would have never been a Seinfeld fan if it wasn't for Wale. That's a fact.
I love Seinfeld.
I never to this day haven't watched one Seinfeld, but I
What,
respect. Nah, I haven't.
dude? That
You gotta.
humor is it's so
It's
good, man.
it's dark sometimes, man. It's got that dark
Yeah,
humor. It
that
really does.
humor.
It's so messed up.
It's observational humor.
Yeah,
Is
it's
so good. But yeah, when he did the whole Seinfeld project, it was like obviously I was like, what the fuck? Like, how do these two things mix? But I fucked with Seinfeld, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go with it.
Super.
yeah,
That's like
I
super
mean,
nerd stuff to me because I never was into Seinfeld. You know, like
You gotta watch it, man.
I'm
It's
into
so ridiculous.
I'm into Curb Your Enthusiasm.
So that's the
No, I
writer
know,
to
I
that,
know
Larry
that.
David.
But
Yeah,
I don't know why that really gets to me. That's like
dog.
super funny.
So Curb Your Enthusiasm is Seinfeld on speed.
Okay,
Like
all right.
it's the same humor, but like it's watered down in Seinfeld.
yeah,
Well, and
So
also that's on HBO too, so it could be a little more
yeah.
yeah.
edgy.
So nerd factoid here. The guy from Seinfeld, the actor, I forget his name, but anyway, George Costanza is
Which
one of the
one? The short guy?
characters. Yeah, Jason Alexander, I think is his name, the
Yeah,
short
Jason
one, the
Alexander.
Yeah,
bald
sure.
one.
Okay, yeah.
So that's George Costanza. George Costanza is Larry David. Larry David wrote George Costanza as himself. So
Oh,
that's his personality. That's who
yeah,
he
that's
is in
good.
real
So
life.
all the flipping out he did.
Yeah, all the
So
spazzing out, gets excited really quick.
Yeah.
really,
These pretzels are making me
Yeah,
thirsty.
I've been told I am a George Costanza, and I agree with that 100%. Between that
wow.
and Ben Stiller, like that's my personality, dude.
So Curb
Like,
Your Enthusiasm is technically that guy.
yeah, so Larry David wrote George Costanza to be himself. Like that's who he is in real life.
Yeah.
Wow,
Created this character to like resemble him.
wow,
Yeah.
that's deep.
Yeah. That's like
That's some artist shit, man, right? You're writing some shit. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna hide myself into this show.
man,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna go
awesome.
level 5 here, but Logic opened up the doors into for those who are interested, if you're gonna go full geek on this, into what's called nerdcore rap. For
You're right.
anyone who's ever
I
heard of that,
agree. I've
yeah,
heard that.
Logic may not have created it, but he
Yeah,
opened
that's what I was
another
gonna say.
door.
Nerdcore's been around for a while.
Yep. But with Logic, again, just like Spawn, he brought a lot of people that weren't into nerdcore
I
into
don't,
nerdcore.
and I'm totally not trying to be disrespectful here to Logic, right? I fuck with Logic. I fuck with him, period. But I also fuck with him because he's from the DMV. But I feel like Logic was like a rapper who came in and was just like, fuck being cool. Like, I'm gonna just be a nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else was trying to be cool, but this dude is just, I mean, he's just a nerd. And I
He's gonna be
don't mean
himself.
that as an insult.
No,
He's
I
gonna be
think
himself.
that's the beauty of the time he came in too, though. You know, he
Mhm.
couldn't.
Oh,
He
yeah,
couldn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like a product of the time more so than.
Absolutely. And you know, you could thank people like Pharrell and Kanye West for that. Because I mean, dude, Pharrell blew the fucking doors off. Pharrell was just like, I mean, fucking their group is nerd.
Super.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
NERD. NERD.
it was just no more hiding. It was just like, fuck it. We're nerds.
Literally and figuratively.
Right. We're in here. I'm wearing my backpack. I'm tired of hiding it. Fuck it. We're in here. So yeah, I think that opened the door for him.
Who are like people that who are some of your favorite nerds, but like I don't know, maybe you feel like somebody wouldn't think that they are, you know?
I personally, I never thought that Wu-Tang was not known as nerds, but I've talked to a lot of people who just don't think they're nerds, and it's like, what are you talking about? But I get it, right? Persona wise, you know, people think nerds are just like some geeky dude. You know, you take his lunch money and shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I
Grab
get
by the ankles and shake it.
Yeah, if that's your definition of a nerd, then yeah, I mean, Wu-Tang does not look like nerds. They'll fuck you up. They take your lunch money. You know what I'm saying?
I would personally say, as far as people who are nerds that you wouldn't think of, is Griselda's like the Wu-Tang of wrestling. If you listen to their music, there is a heavy wrestling. I mean, they call themselves Hall and
Oh
Nash.
no, yeah, I mean, definitely wrestling, especially on the West Side.
Right, but persona-wise, then you wouldn't say it. But I mean, when you listen to the music, they definitely nerd out in wrestling.
I agree.
Yeah, you see, you got to earn that privilege calling a nerd.
Yeah,
I don't know you.
if we continue on this trajectory, I mean, that's pretty much what rap will be in the future, dude.
Yeah,
you don't have to prove you're hard. You have to prove you're a nerd, or else you don't get accepted. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's the thing that hip hop did. Like I said, what was that stand up that?
Hey,
Chris
really
Rock
quick,
did?
man. I just want to bring in a comment we got here. If I was Washington,
Yeah,
man,
there it
this
is.
good about it.
What's in the next
Little
episode?
Uzi and Pendale want to be rapper 6ix9ine are the result of when good things get watered down. It's like watered down alcohol.
Snark.
Hey,
Everybody's got to bring the snark.
don't talk about my man 6ix9ine like that, man. You want to look? Here's the funny thing, man. Is I am a huge fan of Tekashi 6ix9ine. I have yet to hear a single one of his songs, dude. I'm just a fan of his fucking shenanigans, man.
Hey, you want to know who I feel like is a nerd who he probably wouldn't. I feel like he would say it to us, but he wouldn't say it. Is Rick Ross?
Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I just thought for me, the whole thing was weird that he's, I guess, impersonating somebody else.
Hey,
that to me is kind of weird.
You just said wrestling.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You know,
true. Yeah. It's like a CB4 situation.
Well, yeah, you know, if you want to,
I remember that one before.
He's not the first person to take a person's name. Like, I mean, Noriega had the first name.
True.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a lot of guys. 50 Cent.
Yeah, it's a lot. You're definitely right.
Yeah. And going back to what was being said before, like like when you're talking about like going into the whole nerds, the whole nerd thing again. What was it Chris Rock said in one of his stand-ups? You could defend hip hop on an intellectual level.
Yeah.
That's what got geeks like me into it. You know, it was the whole intellectual about it. The freaky deaky metaphors. You know, they drew pictures with words. And yeah, lyrical bullets.
Lyrical bullets.
They blow your mind with just a word and a rhyme, man. You know, you just listening to it, it's like, oh, I want to rewind that. Those scenes, you just rewind it.
I think there's a lot of people who don't understand that aspect of rap. I got a neighbor I was hanging out with, and I was about to put on rap, and they were like, oh, I don't like rap. I was like, why not? And they're like, oh, you know, it's just violent and all this shit. I was like, I mean, I could put on some intellectual shit for you. And dude, it was for them in their brain, that was like an oxymoron.
I know, it's like they only associated with the negative.
Right. They were like, how can rap be intellectual? You know what I mean? It's like, fuck.
That's where, to me, where hip hop changed, where there was a point, I feel like up until like mm, I don't know, late '90s, where it was like the balance was so it was so good. You had like your Channel Live, Karis Ones,
Mhm.
Alfu J. Rue the Damager, um,
Ja Rule the Damager, dude.
Yeah,
but
wow.
all that was like it was. If you listen to it, you was getting something from it. Gangstar,
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Gangstar, yeah, with Guru.
yeah. I mean, you literally could listen to it, and it was like going to school. It was like,
Yeah.
God damn, I feel like I just became a better person by listening to this, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Agreed.
the balance has shifted crazy now. You can still find that now, but it's a little more underground to find right now, you
Yeah,
know.
But
it's the
but you
backpacker
know what?
crowd.
But don't you
Yeah,
feel that? But don't you feel that like it's come full circle? Because like when rap first came out, like you'd have to go to the fucking little bodega and they just the small record shop, and you'd have to fucking go through 1,000 fucking vinyls just to find one rap vinyl, right? Let alone a good one, right? And then the '90s was sort of this explosion where like it's everywhere. I feel like we've come full circle where it's like if you want good rap right now, you're gonna have to fucking go through the crates, dude.
you gotta
You're gonna
find
have
it.
to find it. And it's online. It's all virtual, man. You
Yeah,
you you gotta put in work. If you want good rap, you're gonna have to put in work.
most
So
It's there.
I kind
definitely.
of
It's there.
appreciate it, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
The
It
internet is the new
doesn't
crate.
hurt. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Seth.
No, I was just saying the internet is the new crate.
Yeah.
Most
I agree
definitely.
a
Listen to the
thousand
crate.
percent, man.
Listen to the internet, man.
And you get a sense of accomplishment, and then when you find people who know the artist that you're talking about, it's fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
It's some nerd shit. It's like when you
I
Yeah.
find somebody likes wrestling the way you like wrestling. You're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, you like Vince Staples too? Holy shit, what's up?
I,
You
re-
know,
This is
I
dope.
remember being in Highsville Middle School, seventh grade, and at this point I'm knee deep into it's 90, this 92. I'm knee deep into hip hop. I'm listening, recording mixes, and Nas had just been coming out. I remember like
Yeah.
what's it called halftime that came out on Zebrahead. Remember Zebrahead the movie? Anybody?
yeah. That was with
Um, with Michael Rappaport,
Michael
right?
Rappaport. Yeah,
So I'm listening.
great movie, by the way.
Yes, facts,
Yeah.
Check
great.
it out. Check it out.
That's definitely a nerd out moment
Classic.
right there.
Yeah,
Zebrahead.
yeah.
But I'm in seventh grade. I swear to God, I think I'm the only person that's listening at least to Nas and all this stuff I'm listening to. And I had a Walkman, and this dude came up to me like, "Yo, what you listening to?" I'm like, "Man, I'm like what? Like what? Like you don't know? You know what I'm saying?" I'm like, "This
Right.
Nas." He's like, "You like Nas too?" And we were best friends, bro. I swear to God. From that moment,
That's what I was gonna say. Will you be my
bro,
best friend?
from that moment
Right.
until the end of life, you know what I'm saying? Like we're best
That's
friends,
awesome.
dog. But
I
Fuck yeah, dude.
discovered. I remember when I discovered Nas. It was like '93. When you're in the Air Force, man, like everybody's from somewhere else,
we're bringing stuff
and
to
when
you,
you,
right?
yeah, and everybody's from somewhere else, and so the military covers your rent, your housing. You go to the chow hall for
Yeah, you
food.
got disposable
You
income.
got
Straight up
disposable
and down.
income. So what do people do? They
Buy
buy
music.
things they're into it. So you got a
Hookers and
lot of
cocaine.
DJs. And so what ends up happening is like record stores that were nearby the bases, you better believe they were having all kinds of sets. Like we would go in there, like I would go with my DJ friends and all my other geeks. We would go in there with our DJ friends and we would go in there like looking all this stuff we never heard of. Like out of the blue, we picked up I don't know if anyone even remembers this. It picked up that Uptown shit by
Curious.
Yep.
Curious George.
That Uptown shit. Yep.
You
That
already
shit
Good.
right.
know.
That
Hey,
Uptown
hey,
shit.
hey. That's the uptown. That's the uptown. Hey,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Oh my god, that
Hold on,
was good
Big
times,
Sir.
man.
Have you ever seen his song with MF Doom? Curious.
No, I haven't.
Oh my
And
God.
I hate that I haven't. I hate that I haven't
Yo,
right now.
you're gonna when you watch it, it's going to give you. You're going to be like, you're going to be sad because MF could even a song that it's about, but nah, I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you
so
on
you're
that. I'm
gonna.
with you.
So in other words, you're hoping for me to break my heart again twice.
Most definitely.
Yeah. See,
Hey,
Uptown Hit, man. Oh God, that's so good.
How
Yeah,
about this one? Oh,
because
go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, no, I was going to say the Uptown Hit was the clean and Uptown shit was the dirty.
Yeah, I went with Uptown Shit. I went with
Yeah.
Uptown Shit.
Yeah,
We hit
yeah,
that one, man. We
yeah.
hit that one. It's like, oh wait, is it Uptown Hit? No, this one says Uptown Shit. We hit
Yes.
that. You know, and that was when we discovered like dudes that were wilding out, like the underground, like Onyx, just before they hit. Just before they hit was
Yeah.
back the fuck up.
Yes.
And you go a bit further, my personal, as a nerd, as a what do they call that? A nerds in politics, a wonk. As
A
my
wonk?
personal
I've never
favorite,
heard
as a
of that.
wonk.
Never
Yeah,
heard
that's
of
the
that
nerd for politics. Wonk. As a wonk, my personal favorite, Immortal Technique.
Yo, that motherfucker. How
Immortal
the fuck did
Technique.
I forget about him? Jesus
How did you
Christ.
forget about Immortal Technique? You glad I brought him up, right?
Dog, that dude. Yeah, man, he loses me. Like, he's that much smarter than me that he just loses me. Halfway through the song,
That's
I'm
a
like,
big
you know what?
dude right there. He do.
Yeah, I'm going to just bob my head to the beat. Fuck it. Like, I'm not even going to try to understand this shit. Yeah, man, he's on another planet.
You know, I mean, I'm going to go level 8 now. Everything that we're experiencing right now.
Let me go ahead and give you the meter. Dog.
Yeah, get the meter. I'm going in orange, baby. Going orange. Yeah, everything we're experiencing now as a country, everything that we're experiencing is the failure of our systems. You know, Immortal Technique rapped about this all the time.
A long time ago, too.
You know, a long time ago.
Like, I mean, he's off some other shit. He's talking about like fucking the Bible and fucking Armageddon and shit. But I mean,
again, he's drawing those pictures. He's drawing that.
Yeah, for sure.
When he talks about the Armageddon, when he talks about that, he really is talking about who's that one guy that I like? That one reporter. Anyway, it's called America, the Farewell Tour. This is where I'm going to go level 8. I'm going orange. I might go into red.
You're already on the way, motherfucker.
I may already go into red. Check this out. For anyone
about to get kicked out, man.
Yeah, hold on. For anyone who listens to, for anyone who ever reads or knows that cyberpunk genre, like, you know, Blade Runner, all that stuff, it all makes the same prediction. The U.S. becomes a third world country with the world's largest first world military. That's it. The middle class dies. And Immortal Technique, when he's talking about Armageddon, when he's talking about all of that, he's talking about that internal fight now. I mean, there's a reason why January 6th happened. There is an undercurrent of what's the word I'm looking for anger. There's an undercurrent of it, of discontent. That hasn't been in a long while. That hasn't happened since the anti-globalist protesters in the 90s, which a lot of rappers talked about.
Hey, you're wonking out, man. You're wonking out.
But yeah, Immortal Technique.
No, you're wonking out. You're wonking, man.
Actually, Jameson bottle, man.
What's up?
They should put a straw in that Jameson bottle.
It would make it easier.
The little coffee straws.
Yeah.
I
actually got when me and Wale went on, we did a Rock the Bells tour, and I think 08, 09. And let me see, Immortal Technique was on like a lot of the shows. I remember like seeing him come by, and man, it was like, it's so crazy when you think back, because it's like he just seemed so smart. Like it was like,
yeah, man.
It seemed like just to even have a conversation with him just backstage, it seemed like you had to be on like a whole different page. And I remember him just being like, he was like floating through backstage. It was like, you know, it was like he was just
shit. He seems like an intense dude, man.
It's
like I wouldn't want to get high around him. Like I would
No,
just
no,
be
no, 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 no,
like
no.
stuck and blown. Like
Well, that's the whole
fuck,
point.
it's the end of the world, dude.
No, that's the whole point. Like anybody who's ever gotten high with Immortal Technique will tell you it's like you get high with him and you're finally can just take it all in. He just
Nah,
blows your
fuck
mind.
that.
Heck yeah, I would pay to have that. Like,
He's like
let me have that
he's
conversation.
a bad acid trip.
No,
That's
man,
what he
he's
is.
how's the best way to describe him? He's a historical scholar, and like most
Oh,
historical
absolutely, man.
scholars, you can draw what's happening now to what happened back then. You know, when you hear the stories in the news about how Amazon and all these other tech companies want to build company towns in Arizona, you know, if you're a wonk like me, like, hold on, man, we did that before and it sucked. What what is this? What is this? This is evil. This is evil. This is like on another level. No, this cannot happen. And of course, we all go on YouTube and rage. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like Immortal Technique, like there's stories about him, man. People will get high with him.
He's intense.
He bring out
man.
the weed, and like, shoot, he'd go on a tangent. Just sit back and let it soak in. Next thing you know, like, oh my god, I never saw this before.
All right, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I have one more, and then I got one more. You had mentioned Paul C. the last time we talked. You want to go into Paul C. a bit?
Yeah. Paul C. I told you I've been going down a Paul C. rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Swerve, you know who Paul C. is?
A little, but I'm
Seth,
here
you
to
know
learn.
who Paul C. is?
I don't, but I know I'm gonna get out when we get out of here. I'm gonna look him up.
So Paul C. is he is the guy. So all right, so when Biz did his album the Biz Never Sleeps, which has Oh Baby You Got What I Need, other songs. Paul C was like the engineer, producer on some things, but one of the main tracks that they talk about that he did was on Ultramagnetic MC's, I forget the album. It's like Give the Drummer something like that. But Pete Rock, everybody talks about his drums. To this day, they don't know how he made his drums sound like that. Like to this day, you know what I'm saying? He did so. Rakim's third album, the album with the Ghetto on it. What album is this, Big Swerve? With the Ghetto on it. Rakim's third album.
You're gonna lose me on that one.
Okay. So if you go listen to that album, he came conceptually. He came up with all the beats for that Rakim album. He died not even mid album. He got shot, but he got shot at 24. And nobody to this day, no one knows who did it. You know, it's like, and he should. So
said, let the rhythm hit him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So if we take away Paul C, we don't have Large Professor. Large Professor, in turn, when he died, got to do that Rakim album. But if we don't have Paul C, we don't have Large Professor, we don't have Nas, we don't have. You start going down the damn list of just people we don't have. But this guy was from Queens, and he's essentially what Rick Rubin did more on like the hit. Like I think Rick Rubin was more like rock based. This guy was more soul based, and he was the first one to like kind of master the SP 1200. He's like he's how we look at Dre and all these people, we would have been looking at him the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's the fact that he got murdered. You know, his parents, you remember? Do you guys remember? Oh my God, on the tip of my tongue, Steezo. If you go listen to Steezo's first album, he did the whole album. Do you remember Super C and Castle Rod? Big Swerve. Remember that? No.
Oh wow, you're going way back, man. You're going way back.
He did what's called it? He did like their first singles. Those singles did over 500,000. This is like 88, 89.
Yeah.
You know,
all
to
my
go
DJ
like
friends
back
had
then
that, man.
is insane.
That was a staple.
Jesus.
If you
So yeah, he's like, you know, he's
if
considered
you were
a freaking nerd of nerds. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. If you were a DJ in that time, like 90, in the early 90s at the start, man, that was a staple that they all had. And especially when you talked about how you brought the soul, oh my God, man. Like I remember like all the DJs I met, they had collections of soul. You went all the way back to the classics and what atmosphere, you know, and the remixes you could make with that.
Oh
like,
my
the
God.
classic stuff. And like you said, it brought in Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre brought in that P-Funk, that Parliament,
Yep.
that slow mix. But what did it do for hip hop, man? It's just brought in that flow, that easy, laid back flow, especially when you throw in like, you know, Snoop Dogg, man. You know, music you can smoke to.
Straight up. But with Paul C, I mean, he's somebody that, you know, even to this day, I find inspiration in people like him who, you know, we don't know what he could have been. So it's like, you know, I don't know. For me, I don't know what inspires me about it, but when I go and listen to how he chopped up his beats and sampled, it makes me want to go and chop shit up and sample. You know what I'm saying? Maybe come up with new ways or new things nobody has done.
Right.
Yeah, man.
That's what
Just
pioneers do, man.
be innovative. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so here's to Paul C. And speaking of guys that were gone before their time, Big Pun.
Yeah,
oh
man.
my God, come on, man.
All right, I got one left, man, and then we got to roll. Bushwick Bill.
Got to. This year, Halloween
Fucking-
fell on the weekend.
Yo, I mean, that song is so crazy. It's like the M. Night Shyamalan of songs.
So my mom playing tricks on me. This is the type of stuff I find out later in life through hanging with Biz. So, you know, I love my mom playing tricks on me, whatever. So he's like, yeah, you know, this is Biz. He's like, man, you know, those are my boys, eh? You know, it's my boys. I'm like, Biz, I know those are your boys. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, everybody's your boys. He's like, you ain't know that they got those drums from me? From my mom playing tricks? I'm like, what do you mean? So apparently Biz's drums are like some of the best in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
they took his drums from what's called it? The song is Picking Boogers. If you go listen to Picking Boogers, it's the same drums. They got the drums from Biz. Biz gave them the drums from that to use for my mom playing tricks on me. And I'm sitting there saying to myself like, this is why I love hip hop. It's so connected, and we don't even. It's like a lot of people don't even really know how connected it is. You know, you would never think that.
It's a movement.
You would never think that some guys in Houston would have hit Biz in New York for the drums for their record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a movement. You know, it's going back, like I said, when you want to listen to something out of the norm in any genre, hip hop paved the way for a lot of that.
Straight
Like, let me go in with Jedi Mind Tricks. I Am Nothing. That is one of the most depressing, like, songs I've ever heard. That not since
I don't know if that's
not since Pink Floyd's I'm Comfortably Numb have I heard anything that just like hit me like that. It's like wow.
Was it Immortal Technique that did the one I don't want to give away the ending, but is basically the dude rapes okay, so basically the dude rapes his mom. Does anyone remember that song?
What's the name of that?
What? Y'all don't know what the fuck I'm talking about?
That's dark.
Shit.
That's deep.
Yeah, when you said the most depressing, I was like, it can't be because I heard that song. It was like, I think it was Immortal Technique, dog. The shit, the way he lays it out, talking about some M. Night Shyamalan twist ending shit, is by far one of the most the greatest twist ending rap song I've ever heard in my life.
So that sounds dark. That sounds dark.
It's him and his boys. It's him and his boys, and they're like, "Yo, let's go rob somebody," right? So they go and they see this lady, and they put ski masks on, right? And then they fucking beat the shit out of her, rob her, and then they rape her. These boys are like, "Yo, let's rape her," and then they're like, "It's your turn. It's your turn." So he rapes this woman, right? And come to find out, it's his mom. Like, real shit. At the end, I was like, "Whoa, bro, you could have warned me." Like, what the fuck?
Well, that is dark. That is dark. But
I'm gonna send you the link to the song. I forget if it's Jedi or Immortal, but it's in that genre of music. It's fucked up.
Yeah, Jedi Mind Trick did a lot of that. Look, here's where you can say it's TMI or whatnot. Like, I'm a massive ADD. I'm talking like you got to see a therapist for my ADD. So I take medication for it. And once you realize what Adderall is, the best way to describe it is this. Most people take Adderall because they're meth heads. I take Adderall so I don't act like a meth head. And that's it.
Right.
That's what brings me balance. And so when you hear songs like I Am Nothing, and he's talking about that depression, that medical need, like one day you just wake up and you're just tired. You're just tired. You're numb. There's no reason for it. You're just up in that way. You get those bipolar things. And that's why Jedi Mind Tricks appeal to me, because when they made that, that's why I said it's the most depressing thing I ever heard, because I've been there.
I'm gonna go listen. I actually wrote that down. I Am Nothing. I'm listening to this.
Hey, real quick, I'm sorry. It's called Immortal Tech. By Immortal Technique, it's called Dance with the Devil.
Yeah. By the Pale Moonlight, right?
It is fucked up.
I'm gonna have to listen to it. I don't even think you're the first person that's recommended that to me. But I think I'll just check it out.
I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
You guys are more
tomorrow,
than welcome.
Though, not with the Jameson.
you guys are more than welcome to stay. But we got to wrap it up. It's we went way over, but hey, fuck it. So I'm gonna close this out with the outro. And if you guys want to hang around and keep conversating, that's cool. But thanks.
I'm staying.
Thanks, guys, thanks for joining, man. I really appreciate you guys coming. Thank you so much, Seth. Thank you, Alizay. Obviously, check out their work.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Send me links so I can put it on the Nerdology 101 group. And yeah, man, once again, thank you. Another one in the books. Later.
Nerdology.
Nerdology. Straw for this.
Womp, 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 womp.
Still here.